be there, preview, and setting up your meeting for Facebook Live. We will always find a way around the obstacle. Over, under, around, you know. And let's see. Spinning and spinning and spinning.
It says live on Facebook.
It says live on Facebook. Did we do it?
I don't know. It says on my top left-hand screen, live on Facebook.
Perfect. Okay. I was going and looking for the stream. Okay, so we're going to take it that we are live on Facebook. We are going to jump back in here. We fixed the technical issue of the other thing that happened. Now we are live. Anthony, just for continuity, would you please share your story one more time? Just for continuity, just in case somebody missed it. I mean, it is a really fabulous story. I'm going to hush and get out of the way. I'm Rebecca McGrane. This is Anthony Carpenter. He's with Compass Health Insurance. He has a fabulous story, and he has 3 things that we absolutely need to know about our health insurance. Even if you don't have health insurance, you need to know this because you're going to need to get some at some point in time, right? All right, Anthony, share.
Okay, let's see. All right, so, all right, just checking. So I've been in finance since out of college in 1999. And about a year and a half ago, right after my wife and I got back from a beautiful vacation, I went in the hospital with tachycardia. I had a heart issue. After about a week in the hospital, I had a doctor tell me pretty much I had heart failure and I had 6 months to a year to live, put me on a bunch of drugs, and sent me on my way. Wife and I weren't happy with that. We went and actually found an excellent cardiologist that took his time, did the test, got me off the medications, found, rehab, really made us feel comfortable and everything. And, now we're back in excellent recovery and doing very well right now. So after that, we were left with we had group insurance and we thought we were, responsible and covered. And then all these bills came out of nowhere. This wasn't covered and this was an outside doctor. And you thought you hit your maximum, but wait a minute, this wasn't covered over here. And, I had an insurance license and, I only used it for a short period of time. And then I wanted to make sure that people were able to not go through those things and put their family through that scare that we went through. So I partnered up with Compass Health. We contract with over 140 different carriers nationwide. So we can, find solutions for family, especially in this day and age, because no one size fits all. So that's pretty much how I got into it, and a recap of a recap. So.
That is fabulous. That is fabulous. Now, we were talking earlier this week, and you brought up some information about the cost, not the testing for COVID-19, but the cost that we know presently regarding treatments. Mm-hmm. Can you share a little about that?
Well, each person should have gotten an update from their carrier. And the carrier and most carriers have agreed that they're not going to pay any deductibles, co-pays for the COVID. But if you have other treatments that are done there and other tests that are done there, you are still subject to whatever your plan has there for you. So you definitely want to make sure that you reach out and see what coverage you have, what your hospitalization's covered, and things like that, should something happen. Another thing, really, really big with the COVID going on right now, which is very inexpensive. Most plans have it. Even right now, most hospitals have it. Is Teladoc. If you're home with your kids, you can't go out. Your son's got a rash or something simple. Let's definitely not go to the emergency room unless it's an emergency. But right now, you can use a phone, you can use a tablet, you can use all those things, and then you can get a doctor right then and there. They can prescribe, cold, flu, simple things right over the phone. They can call the prescription in. You can go through the drive-through, and you don't got to get out of your car. And that's a much safer way right now with social distancing going on.
Yeah, exactly. I am there with you on that one. So let's say like right now, okay?
Mhm.
Say that someone is self-pay. They don't have insurance.
Yes.
What's the first thing that they're going to do right
So the
now if
first
they get
thing,
that?
no, there's a little cheat sheet out there. Actually, oh, I got a message saying someone wasn't able to get the feed.
Okay.
They clicked on the event.
I will keep working on it right now.
So the one thing that I can definitely say for anybody, there's a couple of cheat sheets out there. It can be like healthcare blue book, things like that, where you can go in, put your zip code in, look at the procedure, and you can look at the price. What's the average price? And they'll show you what each hospital is paying and all that. So I would say anyone that is a self-pay that's having a procedure done, and it's not an emergency procedure, whether it's, something that you can do over time, make sure you reach out and, get all those options and also see any other plans and payment options that they have available for you.
Well, it seems like it's simple enough. It's straightforward enough. It's not overly complicated. If somebody felt like maybe that's a little bit intimidating, could they call you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
And here's what we at Compass Health, we try to do. We try to have a concierge service for our customers to, yes, you can't have an answer in 5 minutes, in certain things because it's the healthcare and it takes a little while, but we'll try to find the best doctors in your area for you and try to find what you're looking for at the, the best rate. So if there's, let's say something that's, that's not covered, we can go and say, hey, listen, if you go over here, over there, and we'll help try to find discounts for you as well at getting different procedures done.
Okay, well that's kind of cool then. So I could call you and say, this is my health situation. This is what we know about right now.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I want, right? This is the stuff that I need to have covered. And then you could do that for me.
Yeah, each plan, what we do is we ask what we call qualifying questions to everybody. We want to know about you, the husband, the kids, and your background, which is the most important things. Because with 140 different carriers, the big question, do you have pre-existing conditions? Do we have mental health issues? Do we have a baby on the way, which is a big one? People forget to tell you that they're pregnant.
Whoops.
So those are very big qualifying questions. And once you budget, of course, and what you're looking for. Some people are so attached to their doctor that they have to make sure that doctor's in network. Other, people want to have their doctor and their specialist, which I'm the same way. I have to have my specialist no matter what. So you want to make sure you have the network that's, there for you. You want to make sure that you have the coverage that you have that fits your family's need. Some family, they go to urgent care. They don't see their primary care. They like urgent care. And then that's it. So that's a different plan. But we want to make sure that we ask as many qualifying questions for each individual family to customize it to fit their needs.
All right. So you can help me get the right plan based upon the coverage that I see that I need.
Mm-hmm.
You can guide me into the direction to make sure that I didn't miss anything, because you're going to ask me like, hey, like, are you guys expecting a baby, for example?
Yes.
Okay.
That's a big one.
Okay.
We're going to ask you in the last 5 years, what's your medical history look like? And if someone doesn't ask you what your medical history looks like, then, we want to make sure, because even if you're healthy, we want to know, hey, well, we're going to try to have a kid the next 3 years, or, little Johnny's now playing competitive sports. Okay, now we may have some increase in injuries over there, or, little Johnny was just diagnosed with, something, even though it may be. So we want to make sure that we're always trying to, fit each plan for everybody.
Oh, that's beautiful. That is fantastic. And then we were talking also about, and this caught my attention when we were talking just for our one-to-one, right? Mm-hmm. About all of the research that your group can do with like discount programs.
Yes.
So that was really intriguing to me, because I don't feel like, and I could not understand. I'm not in insurance, okay? Mm-hmm. But I feel like tracking down discount programs might not be something that's really like part of your revenue generating side of what it is that you do. I mean, I could be wrong or anything. I mean, and I love the fact that you do it, but share a little bit about that, because that really intrigued me, that approach, your approach to business and philosophy.
So my approach to business and philosophy is something, let's say, simple as prescription drugs. You know, if in the last 5 years you don't take anything, but you got the flu 1 or 2 times a year, and you're not taking any, let's say, maintenance medication, there's discount cards that are going to get you pretty close to the majority of, you know, copay plans out there. The majority, there's some great ones out there that are fantastic, but if you're only, you know, once or twice a year, you get a Tamiflu and an antibiotic, you know, you can find discount programs out there that are fantastic. We just happen to have, you know, a resource that has them all saved, and we'll pull it by your zip code, and we'll pull your area and all the different pharmacies out there. But there's many, many really good programs. We also have, you know, people that will look at the manufacturer. There's certain things out there that have great manufacturer discounts, and you go in there and all of a sudden, instead of $180, you're spending $8 or, you know, 12. So it's time consuming. It really is for the average person. It's something that we try to do on a regular basis for everybody. If they say, you know, hey, listen, you know, I take this skin cream, and it's usually, you know, this right over here. So we'll put them all in there, and we'll find the best one for you. And it is. So when it's just the normal things, we really try to, you know, reach out for the customer, and it's a benefit. I find that, you know, why add that additional cost into, you know, a program if we don't have anything out there?
I like that right there. Like, why add something in if it's not necessary?
And you can always add it, you know, immediately. You know, you can always add, you know, a program, you know, quickly. But, you know, those are, you know, when people get put on, let's say, something that they're going to be on a maintenance medication for a long time, odds are that, you know, we can add the coverage and, you know, have them, you know, taken care of, you know, at that time. But the normal stuff, you know, literally, if you go to, you know, we live in Florida, you know, Publix, if you just go to Publix.com, they have a list of, you know, cheap and free antibiotics that's going to cover a lot of your colds and sniffles and things like that. So it's always good to look.
So I'm so sorry. I could be at my doctor's office in an appointment.
Yep.
And like, I can call you and say, hey, I'm leaving, and they want to put me on XYZ medication. And by the time I get to the pharmacy, I can have prescription coverage if I need it.
Well, it may take a little longer than that.
Okay, I'm asking, you know, I'm like a here and now instant person. So
I know if it's most of your stuff, yeah. You say, hey, listen, I got in, I have a cold, flu. You could literally have that done in a few minutes. But if it's a serious medication that's
okay.
You know, something that, you know, you haven't heard of, or something that's not your normal, like I said, your amoxicillins, your fungals, all those things like that, yeah, absolutely. Those are the easy ones. But some of the crazy ones out there, yeah, they'll take, you know, 24 to 48 hours. But you also have the option, if it does take 24 to 48 hours, just to get a day or two supply while you're waiting for the coverage as well.
All right, and it's pretty. I mean, it's straightforward to add. I mean, that's the big thing.
Yep. And then there's several different plans out there, so you don't just have to pick, you know, you may have, you know, one, and we find another plan that fits your needs better, and we'll customize your prescription plan based on your family.
Oh, you can do that.
Absolutely. That's one of the, you know, most unique things about, you know, what we do here is, you know, we're going to customize it to you. So let's say you got kids that, you know, need braces. We're going to make sure they have the correct orthodontia for them. And it may not be this plan. So we're just going to, you know, build the plan based on your needs, and whatever fits, you know, fits there. And it's a good advantage being able to do that. It allows us to, you know, just narrow some of the holes that get filled today, you know, that aren't getting filled, in a lot of the healthcare out there. You know, you have this coverage, but you don't have that. And we have, you know, good ways of, you know, putting things together, building you that plan that will allow you to get the, you know, the most comprehensive coverage within your, you know, your risk, you know, area, which is something we'll talk about as well.
Right. So then how? Okay, that's perfect, because so how would I figure out? I mean, how would I figure out financially how much insurance do I need? How much am I responsible for, even with insurance? Like how do I figure that out?
Well, mostly you want to know is your risk. What is the financial risk to your family should something major happen? So that's the first thing is, what is the risk that you're willing to bear? So most people, and let's just start with something simple. I've said it before, I'll say it 100 times. Say they go, I have a $5,000 deductible. Okay, that's great. And then you move over to the next side, then you see, well, and then max out of pocket 4,500 and co-insurance 80/20. So what is that person's total risk? And how you calculate that is if you have any, co-insurance that's not at 100%, an 80/20, 70/30, 60/40, any of those, you would add your deductible and your max out of pocket together.
Okay, so if my deductible was
$5,000.
okay, yeah, the $5,000, and then if my other number was 10, that would mean I was 15,000.
Yep. If you have co-insurance. So if you have co-insurance that's at 80/20, you'd have 20% of your bill up to an additional $10,000. That's high. You don't see that happen very often.
Okay. Well, I mean, I was, I'm making numbers up over here.
A typical example would be, let's just take your average ACA plan, the Affordable Care Act plan. The average deductible is $8,150. Double that, and they're based on a family deductible. So they're going to say you have this, and it's usually a 60/40 co-insurance until you hit your family deductible, $16,000. So that's your financial risk before they're going to cover 100% of your services. That's a big number.
It is a big number.
Yep.
Okay, that in and of itself is just, it's a big number. I have to admit, it's a little frustrating for me because I don't know that a lot of people would be looking at their insurance and recognizing that, for a significant number of people, they're talking about a half of their income, a third of their income paid out in medical expenses if they needed to take advantage of it. I mean, if you're talking $16,000 a year, and someone who maybe only makes 40, 60, 70, that's a huge chunk of money.
It really is. And that's where, our goal is for every customer is to educate them on the risks that they're taking. And we have ways to try to alleviate that risk as much as possible. So we try to balance your deductible and out of pocket, as well as we add things to it like a deductible insurance, which will cover about 90% of the reasons you hit your deductible. Should you have an accident, little Johnny falls off the couch, cracks his head open, goes get stitches, goes in the emergency room. It covers accidents. Also, with things going on today, if you have coronavirus, you're going to be hospitalized. It's going to cover your hospitalization as well, and it's a $250 deductible. So I'd much rather walk out of the hospital paying $250 than $16,000. The other thing with those, that insurance is as soon as that takes care of your deductible, all the rehab or the things you would need going further, because if you broke your arm, you're going to need some rehab. After your deductible is met, you don't even have to worry. It's covered to the end of the year. Oh,
fantastic.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So that's something we try to pair into everything. The deductible insurance is probably the most important thing. And if you have a high deductible, low deductible, I don't want to write the check. I don't know anyone that wants to write. Even if you have a $5,000 check, who wants to write a $5,000 check out when we can do it? And most plans for deductible, accident, indemnity, however you want to call it, are very, very inexpensive. They really are. And, you can always search, and you can even customize them to add other, benefits to them if you want as well. But for me, the minimum accident and hospitalization, the main reasons that 90% of us ever go to the emergency room anyway. So
right. I mean, definitely, for sure. So you were talking about going in and like the $250 on the copay, but then popped into my head the idea of what about if you go into the doctor and they say, hey, you got to go get this MRI, or you need to go get this other test. So can you get the cost of that procedure?
Yep.
How do you do that?
So you have several ways. Okay, you can call, if you have insurance, you can call your insurance company, and your insurance
Okay.
company can give you an explanation of benefits beforehand. You can call that. Let's say you're going to Quest Diagnostics. You can call them up and ask them what it is. You give them your insurance and your policy number, and then they'll be able to give you the cost of it right away. I recommend that if it's something that's not life threatening or anything like that, and you can search a couple different places, absolutely call them. Say, hey, I have Aetna, I have Cigna, I have Blue Cross, I have United Healthcare, I have National, here's what it is. What's my, cost going to be after my reprice amount with my insurance? And, instead of doing it at the hospital, sometimes it's going to be cheaper. With health insurance, we always want to do the best to find the most cost-effective way to get the treatments for our customers, especially, right now, since the market's changed so much in the last 5 years.
Yeah. I know I've seen that. I mean, our family dynamic has changed. 5 years ago, it was just me and my husband,
Mm-hmm.
and then we had this big shift. We had, with my dad, my mom, my grandson, my son. It's like totally different. And so I'm thinking more about health insurance now than I was 5 years ago, being, two adults, self-employed, self-funded, healthy, nothing really wrong. I mean, pay $100 or so, $150 maybe for a checkup once a year, go get our teeth cleaned for $50, or well, probably 75, but I think he gave me a discount because I'd been with him for so long. But totally different now. It's like everything, it's like I gotta have coverage for my grandson, gotta make sure that if something comes up, he has what he needs, right? So I know for us, the I guess the way that we look at risk, I guess, is different, right? Because of that. So what are specifically, so that we have it segmented out, what are some other risks, and how can we make sure that we're protected, that we're prepared for those risks?
So there's a couple other ones, out there. Not being able to see the doctor you want, that's a big one. Not having a plan with a big enough network should a procedure happen. Sometimes you go with a plan. Some of the EPOs out there, the network's so small, and some of the surgeons and things don't take that. Now that's a risk. I'm very adamant, if I'm having a knee surgery, or in my case, if someone ever's cutting my heart open, I want to make sure I have the guy that's done 5,000 or 6,000 surgeries than somebody else. Making sure you have the largest network. Also, if you travel a lot for your work, make sure that your insurance travels with you, because a lot of plans in Florida are only good in Florida. You go to Colorado on that ski trip, you saved up all year, you break your leg on the ski slope, your bills are out of network, and it's really, really expensive at that point. So those are some of the risks that get involved in it. Also, other risks, which would be a big one, pregnancy. If you're planning on having kids, things like that as well.
Okay, so out-of-state travel for work or recreation. Planning to expand your family through natural birth. I guess adoption too. I mean,
yeah.
I guess it really doesn't matter.
Yeah.
From that aspect. So let's say that my father, for example, right? Let's pretend he didn't have insurance.
Yes.
I mean, could I put him onto my insurance plan?
Wouldn't be a family member.
Wouldn't be a family member because it's going up and he's an adult? Okay. Yeah. All right. That's a bummer. Yeah. I figured I'd ask. Families are different now. So what do they call it? The Oreo generation or something?
Hey, listen, my daughter's 29. She still thinks she should be on my plan. So
love it.
So there's lots of risks out there, and each family is going to be different. Those are just some general ones, and it's just we take the time to sit there and find out what's going on.
Right.
We have some plans. We ask, want to know about family history. That's a big one. Hey, listen, my grandmother had a stroke, my father had a stroke, so you may look to have, those options at cancer, heart, stroke, genetically. We want to look at all that. We want to get the best look at the entire picture that we can, because nothing's ever perfect, but our goal is to just limit as many of those holes as possible.
I really think that that's a great idea. I mean, it sounds like somebody could really call you and just kind of talk with you, almost like talking with a family friend. I mean, this is my takeaway. Could talk with you almost like they're talking to a family friend.
Mm-hmm.
And you could say, well, okay, so based upon what you shared with me, let's look at this, and this, that kind of thing.
Well, you want to have a conversation with everybody, because you're asking very personal questions. Let's be honest, health insurance is very personal. It's very difficult, and it's scary. Once again, telling you from personal experience, I thought I knew something about it at that time, and I obviously didn't know nearly as much as I thought. But, when you're getting that, you're asking personal questions. I mean, hey, listen, you have to ask them about what's this. And that's something that you have to have a conversation with somebody. You have to sit down and talk to them, no matter what plan, you're doing. Getting all that information really is the big difference. I mean, you can't just say, oh, hey, I have this plan out here for you. And then all of a sudden, 3 months down the road, you go, whoa, wait a minute. You didn't tell me you guys were trying to have a kid. Now you don't have, that insurance on there. So it is, you're going to sit down, you're going to talk, we're going to gather all the information, but it's not a one and done. It's going to take a day, because we're going to go out there and we're going to search everybody, and we're going to search all the different carriers, all the different things. Now, based on the information you provide, we can narrow down the scope. If you say, hey, I'm 40 years old, me and my wife, we have 2 young kids, we have no family history, no nothing. Okay, we can really narrow down the search for you. But we're going to get that, we're going to bring it all together, and then we're going to just present it to you with the best options based on the information that you gave us.
All right, well, that is awesome. So, big question.
Mm-hmm.
How do people get in touch with you?
Well, you can always call me. My number is 727-303-9979. You can message me on Facebook.
Okay. So is that right for your number?
Absolutely, that's me.
Okay, that is awesome. And then you are on Facebook. Do you know how do we find you on Facebook? Your Facebook.com what?
Anthony Carpenter on Facebook.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it. I practice just keeping it simple.
Anthony Carpenter. That's it. Or Anthony Carpenter.
Just Anthony Carpenter.
I love that. So hold on a second. Let me make sure I have this right. I'm writing it down so I don't forget.
Mm-hmm.
If you can read. So that's correct?
Yep.
Okay. And by the way, folks, you can use fb.com. You don't have to spell out Facebook. It does redirect just the same. All right. So I can find you on Facebook. I can pick up the phone and call you. Does this number also accept, is it mobile?
Yep.
Okay, I wasn't sure. I didn't know how you guys had that set up. Okay, so 727-303-9979.
Yes, ma'am.
You can work with people even with social distancing?
Absolutely. That's actually the best part about our job right now. We're still available. We can chat over the computer. We can meet virtually.
Oh my goodness. And what states? Are you only in Florida?
No, we're in, I'm only in 32 states right now. Right now. But if need be, we can always get licensed in any state that needs to be taken care of.
Okay. So could you do me a favor, because you know that we are streaming to Facebook, right? This is all for Facebook Live. When you have a moment, can you go into the Facebook Live?
Okay.
And type that same contact information. And if you can, I don't know if you have it handy, but could you put the states that you're available presently to work?
Just any state, call and ask. It takes 24 hours to get the license done.
Perfect. So you can do anywhere in the United States. You can get people insured.
Pretty much.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Well, I really appreciate you taking the time to share with me all of this good information, and with our viewers as well. So that is really, really cool.
I
Appreciate it greatly.
appreciate you guys having me. It
Yeah,
was amazing, especially with everything going on. I'm happy to be a resource for some information.
I'm excited to be connected with you. I definitely want to send people, because need insurance. I mean, some of the rates, I mean, we didn't even really talk about that, but you were telling me some of the stories about the deals for people. Like it's not astronomically expensive, when you're getting an insurance plan with what you shared with me in that private conversation.
Yes.
I don't want to break anything, but I was surprised. I was really surprised at the affordability of the options to get specifically what was important and what was necessary in that unique situation. It wasn't like somebody was going to have to take one of their paychecks every month to cover just their premium.
No, we've been really trying to focus on getting everybody within reason, and there's plenty of alternatives out there to help people. Like, it's just trying to find the best ways and putting it together for them within that reasonable price amount.
Right. I really appreciate that about you. That's the big thing, like, just being consumer focused. I really appreciate that. So thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much for your patience with some of the technical issues.
Not a problem. I had a wonderful time.
All right. It was awesome. And then I will see you tomorrow morning for our Crush Networking Zoom.
Yep.
Awesome. Okay. Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.